Lady Charmaine, and my guest today was a member of the multi-platinum selling R&B group Xscape, who rose to popularity in the 1990s. And now she's back on the scenes, but on the small screen as a new diva in the hit reality show R&B Divas Atlanta. Help me welcome Miss LaTocha Scott to the show. Welcome to the show, LaTocha.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you have been on the scenes for quite some time, even before the 1990s, because I read that you started off singing in the church and you also sang with your father back in the day. Can you kind of explain that to us and how your career kind of evolved?
Well, I grew up in a singing household. My father, along with his brothers, they had a trio, and they were called the Scott Three. So I looked up to them coming up, and they would travel around the southeastern region, and I was definitely inspired by their harmonies and just the way that they moved in Atlanta. And so early on, my father, he knew that I wanted to sing, and because every day it was always something with me. I wanted to learn how harmony parts worked. Anytime he would write a song, I would come in, and he would show me through songwriting, notes and stuff like that. So I grew up wanted to be a singer and knowing that this is what I wanted from the very beginning. I met Jermaine Dupri at a birthday party with Tiny, Candy, and my sister, and we sang happy birthday to him. And we, at that time, we were all wanted to be a group. And then we went to Team Summit, and a lot of people don't know this, but we did Team Summit. I think that was 92. And we performed on there, and that was actually a kickstart for our career because Jermaine saw us on there. We sang for his birthday, and after that, he came back and signed us as his first group on his first label, which was So Def. Yeah.
So, I mean, all that happened like so quickly, and then you guys, you blew up in the 1990s, and so you guys had a great career. And I have to ask you, though, I never really got the story. What really happened with Xscape? Because you have women who sang really well, look like, of course, to us, appeared that you all gel really well. What happens? Why can't women, female groups stick together? Now, Destiny Child did a good job of staying together, but what really happened with the group?
Well, you got to understand, when we were in the group, we were very young, and we really didn't have anyone to kind of go to for problems, and so whenever that happens, it's almost like cancer that sets in. And when you don't deal with the problem or you don't take the right antibiotics or whatever you have to take, then it festers. And so the situation with Xscape was we were young and we were naive about the business first and foremost. And then we had conflict a lot when it came down to lead parts. And I'm not going to say all of us. I would say one person in particular. And so women, we work off of emotions. We don't think about the latter, and that's what happened to us. We didn't think about the latter, and we never really addressed the situation and the problems that we had. We just allowed it to kind of snowball. And anytime you don't communicate with, even if it's in a relationship, things don't work out. And I will just say it like that. It just didn't work out at the end, but we were very close early on. We were like sisters. And one thing led to another, and we never addressed the situation. Whatever problems that we had, whether it was somebody wanted to lead or somebody didn't get the opportunity, we never addressed it, and we just allowed it to keep going. And then, and what happened was it actually allowed us to disband, and we kind of lost communication for a minute. But things happen for a reason. I had someone ask me the other day, do you regret anything that happened in your life? And I'm like, not when if it's a mistake that I learned from, then I don't regret it. And so I've become a student of the game. I learned early on, that you can't always take things personal. It's a business. And, things happen.
Because the group did try to come back together at one point, didn't you? You tried to, you and Tamika, I believe, and your sister, and you had gotten a new member. So what happened with that? Why didn't that stay together?
I'll say that, a lot of times when people see a situation that's already up and coming, we were already selling lots and lots of units, and then they come in and they expect to be able to have the same amount of money or the same amount of success that we had. And it doesn't work out like that. You have to work. You have to be on your grind, and it doesn't come naturally. And then when you don't love music, it's just that you want to be put in a situation, and it's like, I want to be famous. This is not the type of business that you could just say, I want to be famous and don't put the work in.
Do you think you and the girls will ever come together with all of you, including Candy?
I don't know, and I always tell people if the stars align, but I've actually called. I've placed several calls. This is before the So Def 20-year reunion happened, and I said, we definitely need to get together, outside of the music, just to be friends, just to talk about, to get past the things that happened, early on. And so I haven't received a call back. I've spoken with Candy's mother just so that we all could have a sit down, a powwow, because we're women, and I think we women always tear each other down instead of build each other up. I'm very happy that they're successful, she and Tiny, but I have not, from Candy, I haven't gotten a response back yet. So, Tiny and I, we speak, we talk. We just saw each other the other day on Sad Circumstances, which was Chris Kelley's funeral.
Right. But,
we hugged and we were very cordial. We talk about our children. We don't really talk about the business as much, but we know that there's no love lost. And so, I want to get back to what we had before, but it's going to take a minute, and I hope for the fans that we do it, because I think we owe it to the fans to do that.
And speaking of female groups, why don't you think female groups last longer than 5 years? What is it with us as females?
I mean, you can talk to anybody, even someone in the workplace. There's always somebody jockeying for position. We're very emotional and, catty at times, and we're not like men. I had a conversation with Jagged Edge not too long ago, and I was like, how do you guys have relations with the same girl, or, you be with the same girl and you guys get over, fight it out, and you move forward? And they're like, we don't hold on to things. They don't get attached, and we do. We get very attached to things, the situations, and we don't, we just don't think about the latter, and it's always a cat fight. It's like crabs in a bucket when you think about women, and it's sad to say that, but it's true.
And I want to get back to Chris Kelley because we just laid him to rest. What was your fondest memory of Chris Kelley? Because you both were on So So Def.
A couple of fondest memories. Actually, we were in rehearsal for the reunion, and my sister and I, we were rehearsing, and then he and Kris, the other Kris, rehearsed, and then he came off stage like, "Oh, we gonna get y'all! Like, we gonna kill y'all!" He's like, "We gonna kill y'all!" And it was always a great competitive spirit, and it's genuine, but Kris was just the type of person where he knew who he was. He had so much swag, and he was fearless. And so, there was another time when we were on the road, when we had just gotten started, and we would go out to eat with them a lot, and then we would go to the bathroom, and when we come back to try to pour salt in our food, they would food the salt shakers, and then we would be like, oh my gosh. And then there were times when we were I don't know if you know, like when you go to the hotel and you order room service, we would order room service for them and put it on their doors. And so it was just real fun. We had fun times, and we would get mad at each other. We would have water fights. So there's so many fun memories that we had, just being together, being a family. And that's why I would not have missed that moment. And I'm so glad that I did the 20-year reunion, because I still have those memories to this day.
Oh, that's a blessing. So we definitely got to keep him and all of his friends, because I know that was a shock to everybody, when we heard the news of his passing.
Yeah.
Where were you when you heard about his passing?
I was actually at the R&B Divas pre-screening. Selena and I and Angie had a private party that, just for family and friends. And my sister texted me. She was on her way to the event, and she goes, "Chris died." And I'm thinking, because I know another Chris Kelley. I'm thinking, which, not the Chris that we just, she's like, "No, Chris, our friend Chris." And I was stunned. I sat just numb for a minute, and people were talking to me, but I heard them, but I didn't hear them. So it was just one of those moments when you're like, this isn't happening, So I was shocked. I was really shocked.
Yeah. Well, we want to move on because you are in a brand new reality show. Now, almost all the girls in the group now, besides your sister, is in a reality show. Did you ever have a desire to be in a reality show yourself?
I did not. I have to be honest with you. I did not. When I watch reality shows, a lot of times I see a lot of ratchetness, if I can say that. And I said, I never want to be a part of a situation where people look down on me, because that's not who I am. I've been gone from this music thing for a minute, and when I do make my comeback, it's got to be something with a purpose, and the premise cannot be on, you just follow me around with a camera for no reason. Right. And so when I was approached by the network, I said, okay, wait a minute. And I was apprehensive at first, and then I saw what the network was doing, how they had Unsung, and they were very, allowed us to be knowledgeable about the people before us in music. And I said, okay, that's a plus. And then when I actually got a chance to see some of the episodes from the R&B Divas, and I'm like, okay, I like the fact that these girls are on the comeback. I know these girls from back in the day. And I said, okay, Tasha, this is a great platform for you to come back on. And I kind of stepped back and said, okay, this is a good situation here. And that's when I went forward, because it was always about talent. I didn't want to be a part of anything just, like I said before, people just following you around with a camera. It had to be something with a purpose, and it was about music, which is my first love. So it all made sense.
Now, after being in a female group, and I'm sure you remember all the disagreements and all the tension, what was it like for you that first day? Because, you know, with us watching it, you walk into a room with the R&B divas, and there's all this tension in the room. Was it a flashback for you?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, the initial approach, I was like, okay, something is not right here. And because I've been in a girl group, I know how to face black. I know how to not get too involved where, you know what I'm saying, I'm just being judgmental. So I kind of sit back and I kind of survey the room, and I'm like, okay, this is this person, this is their personality. But it actually gave me the up when it came down to being thrust into a situation like that. So, yeah, the girl group thing helped me out a lot, a whole lot.
What about when you guys are sitting at the table and then you have Angie Stone? She's trying to bring everybody together. She's just trying to bring order. One person speak at a time, and then Kiki goes off. What were you thinking? Because looking at your face, I'm like, oh, my goodness, what happened there? Why did Kiki get so upset?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, Kiki is the type of person where she doesn't like to be talked at. You know, Kiki wants to be on her own, and she's made it just apparent that she's tired of the her and Avant thing, and she's trying to get out on her own and branch out. She doesn't want to have anybody say anything to her. That you're not her mom. So I get that part, but at the same time, I try to allow Kiki to know that that's wisdom speaking. You know, that's somebody who's been in the business for over 30 years, and you can definitely learn something from her. But Kiki was not feeling it. She wasn't having it. And even now, you know, she feels the same way. She's like, that's not my mama. I don't need to hear nothing from her. She's old. And I think that's disrespectful. So, you know, my facial expressions, I guess it says it all, because a lot of my friends have been calling like, girl, your face. And I never knew that I was looking like that. But a lot of times, you know, I guess, silence is golden, but my facial expressions, it says a lot. It says a lot.
Because, I mean, I really do think that Angie was really trying to bring something, because wisdom was speaking. She was able to see that if the group continued that way, that it was not really a group, but if the ladies continued that way, they really won't be able to get as far as they desire, you know, with this career and what God is trying to do with R&B Divas. So when Kiki kind of acted like that, I was really surprised, because it's like, you got to be able to see what she's trying to do to bring everybody together. And that's why I was really surprised. And my thing is, I appreciate the wisdom of the age, because guess what? One day I'm going to be that age, and I'm going to be able to talk to younger people, and I'm going to want younger people to listen to me and not treat me like, oh, you old. But with age comes wisdom, and we got to be able to appreciate that and appreciate where people have been before us.
Yes, ma'am. And, you know, I grew up around, you know, my grandmother she imparts wisdom upon me all the time. Anytime I go see her and we sit up and talk. And to me, that's a blessing to be able to absorb that, because a lot of people don't get that. And I think Kiki probably was raised in a situation, you know, the more I get to know her, that she was raised around a lot of boys that kind of told her what to do. And I think that has kind of shaped the essence of her. She just doesn't want to hear. She blocks a lot of things out. And I don't know if that's the best thing for her. And I think time will tell, you know, because sometimes the decisions we make, if you don't listen to someone else, you can continue to make those, you know, mistakes. And I wish that I had somebody like Angie with us, the group Xscape back in the day, because, oh my gosh, things would have been so much different today.
And you can appreciate that wisdom, and not always think when somebody's saying something negative that they're always talking to you. They're just talking. Yes. And wherever it lands, if the shoe fits, wear it, but they're not talking directly to you. And so sometimes when we wear our feelings on our shoulders and we're so sensitive, not everybody's talking to you, my dear. They're just talking because there's other things going on in the room, not just you. Now, if it was only her, then I could say, yeah, I feel you talking to me, but how many other women are in the room?
Yeah. And I never understand why she feels like Angie's actually coming at her. I don't know why she's all in her feelings with that. I still don't know to this day what's up with that. I don't.
So prayerfully we'll be able to see as the show goes on. And so for you, what was your first impression of the ladies? I'm sure you probably knew some of the ladies, or maybe even knew some of the ladies. But what was your first impression walking in the room? You got all these wonderful women. I'm sure you probably had some of their CDs. What was your impression?
Well, my impression was, wow, these girls, they look beautiful, and their spirit was good at that point. You know, they embraced me when I first walked in. And it was up until, you know, we were all together by ourselves outside of the band that I realized that something was going on, because they embraced me, but then when we went in the other room, it was silent. And I was like, usually when you've been working with a group of women, somebody talks to somebody. And then they start talking about the elephant in the room, and I'm like, oh, so it's something going on outside of me.
Right.
Okay, you know, it's one thing to sing with somebody, and then the next minute it's like, okay. I'm like, I've danced to this tune before. Something's wrong. Something is wrong.
So are we going to be able to see everybody work out their differences in the next few episodes, I hope?
For the most part. But, you know, there are two women that don't get along, and they just don't like each other. You know, they never see eye to eye. And you're definitely going to see a lot more of that. And then you're going to see music again. You know, for me, on my end, if they're going to show me singing in the studio, you know, writing my book, being with my family. So you'll see a lot of that on my end, because I'm not here for foolishness. I'm here for, you know, for people to embrace music again. And that's something that I've always wanted, and that's something I'm going to play my part in bringing back, because we've gotten so far away from that. You know, and I like the fact that Faith has brought everybody together for her compilation, and that Monifa is finally now happy in her skin. And so everything is going to unfold, and I think people are going to see the true, genuine person for who they really are.
Now, can you just give us a sneak peek? I just want your opinion, okay? Just your opinion. Your whole opinion on Selena and Nicki. Tell me, who you think is right? Is there anybody in particular that's right? Because their situation is quite interesting. They're like oil and water. Is it because they're so much alike? Because I've talked to Nicki already. Is it because they're so much alike? That's what I'm trying to figure out. And Nicki agreed, yes. But I'm just trying to figure this whole situation out. Why don't they get along? What is it about them in the same room that just don't mix?
Oh, my gosh. Both of them want to get their point across. That's first and foremost. And I can't say that Selena doesn't listen because she does. I think she feels a certain way because Nicki always comes for her. And even though my initial approach to this thing, Selena never comes to me about Nicki. Never. She always, if there's something brought up, it's somebody else saying something, and she's addressing it. But it's always the other way around when it comes to Nicki. She comes off as, I don't like Selena. You know, that's her first approach. Anytime she comes and says anything, it's like, I don't like her. You know, and I'm like, okay, well, we get that part. But being in the room with the both of them, I mean, I love Selena. Selena's like one of my cousins, you know what I mean? And we get together often. You know, our husbands, the last couple of Sundays ago, we got together and we did a day that our husbands catered to us. And so they cooked, and, you know, so we have a good time together. But I don't see the other side that Nicki sees. And I'll just leave it at that. It's just a difficult situation to be around them at times together.
Well, I bet it is. Now, I know a lot of people probably thought that you had left the scenes, but you've actually been on the scenes for quite some time, because in 1998, you were on the NFL Jams. You had a song title called Promise. Also, you had released a single, Liar, Liar, which appeared on the Best Man soundtrack in 1999. And you even collaborated with Trick Daddy on the song Thug Holiday in 2002. Yeah. So you were actually doing some things. I didn't even realize you were still doing stuff. And now you also released a song. It was called Bad Timing from your upcoming studio album. Talk to us about that.
Well, you mean the overall everything I've been doing, or just the single?
The single. I know overall everything that you've been doing. Well, let's go back to that. Let's go over all the stuff that nobody really realized you were doing, but you were there still working and still grinding. Let's talk to us about that first.
Well, you know, a lot of people don't know that I've been doing songwriting for a while. I did a lot of songs for Xscape, and never really got a lot of recognition for it. And so I just kept, you know, stayed on my grind, kept writing, because that's one of my passions. I love to write. And like you said before, I did the song with Trick Daddy, Thug Holiday, and I did a song with Jay Shin. I wrote songs for 98 Degrees. I'm not sure if some people even remember the guy group. Wrote a song for Whitney Houston, Tamar Braxton. So I was really writing and finding out, you know, life outside of the group. So I kind of just was behind the scenes. And that's why a lot of people, when they came, they're like, what have you been doing? I'm like, I've been working. You guys just haven't seen me. And so, I was like, I've been working. You don't know. I have to pay my bills.
Right.
And you know, you can't pay bills by not doing anything. And so I wasn't sitting at home twiddling my thumbs. I was actually working And it's good to hear that you know that, because a lot of people don't know that I was working, because I'm not the type of person that goes out and like, I did this. I'm just not that vocal person. And so, it makes me feel good now that people are recognizing that I am a songwriter, an author, I'm a mother, and that means everything to me. It does.
See, that's a blessing to know that. And now, like we said, you have a new album, album that's coming out, but you have got a song called Bad Timing. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. Bad Timing. A friend of mine had a situation with a guy where she started to like him a lot. And he had just gotten out of a bad relationship. And both of them were feeling a certain way, but it was just bad timing. And so we sat down and we came up with those lyrics, and it just fit. A lot of people were, hitting me on social media like, I'm going through this right now. And a lot of times I write off of personal experiences or things that I see my friends go through, but that was a good time for us to sit down and write, because it's therapy. A lot of people don't know that either. When you're writing down your ideas, you kind of release a lot of things that's been bottled up inside of you. And that song, Bad Timing, it's kind of self-explanatory. It's just a bad time that, two people wanted to get together. It's just bad timing.
And a lot of people was in that situation. That is so true. So it might be the right guy, but just the bad timing. This is just not, situation is just not right. But no, that's good.
Yeah.
So what else can we expect from you? We know that R&B Divas is a launching pad, or reality shows are a launching pad for a lot of people's careers. And I'm sure you getting back into music. So what else can we expect to see from you?
Well, my memoir is going to drop this summer. It's a book about my life, with the ups and downs of being in the music industry and being in a girl group, because I'm asked all the time, what happened. And so I think people would learn, they'll be inspired. Those who are aspiring to be singers or being in a group can kind of learn from the things that I've done, good and bad. And so the book, my memoir, will be out this summer. I have a foundation called Golden Girl that magnifies self-love and self-esteem in young women. You're going to see me do a lot more work in my community just to help women, because back in the day, I felt like people didn't know me for LaTocha. They always thought, the big girl. And I want to let girls know that you can overcome any obstacle in your way. And so that's one reason for the foundation, and also the book. The album, Truth in the Booth, is going to come out the same time the book drops. And then we're going to go on tour. So I got a lot going on, and I just want people to keep your ears out. Keep a listen out for LaTocha, because I'm back, and the music is here to stay.
That's awesome. And now, LaTocha, I want to know if you can just give some young women who are thinking about forming a group. We got 3 girls who are good friends, and we want to get together and be a group. What advice would you give them from what you've experienced? You don't have to give us everything in your book, but what advice would you give them right now if they are listening, so they don't have to have that cancer to tear them apart?
Well, I would say stay committed to your passion, whether you or the other group members get along or not. If this is what you want to do, don't allow anybody to deter you from that. Also, learn how to listen and not always feel like somebody's coming at you when they want to voice their opinion. It's always good to kind of let someone else, say what they feel, and then you say what you feel, and don't take it to heart. Don't wear your feelings on your sleeve, and just know who you are and learn about this business. Pick up some books, talk to someone, go online, because a lot of times you don't know, but you'll get in a situation when you could have learned. Back in the day, we didn't have Google. We didn't have people that we could go talk to about certain things. And so utilize the tools that are, put in front of you, but stay committed and to your passion, man. If you love it, don't say one week, I want to do hair, I want to do makeup. Stay committed to what that is. Because I meet so many people that are like, my mom said I should do this. And then my friends told me I couldn't be a singer. And then they lose focus on their dreams while their friends are doing everything that they want to do. So stay committed. That's good. And if people wanted to follow you, are you on Twitter and Facebook? I am. And you can follow me at I am LaTocha, and that's spelled LATOCHA. And if you want to send music, you can go to LaTochaSings@gmail.com, and it's spelled the same way, LATOCHA. All right. We look forward to following you. And I want to remind everyone to make sure you watch R&B Divas Atlanta tonight, 10/9 Central. It's going to be good. It's on TV1. Yes, it is. Go ahead. I was going to say, I appreciate, and I just want to thank all the fans for supporting Xscape throughout the years. because of your love and the things that you've done for us, we're still able to do the things that we love. So I really and truly, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate everything that people have done for us. So thanks.
Oh, that's awesome. And LaTocha, again, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.